Hi, I'm Sam
Hi,
Heft,
I'm Yoav,
and we are the
Living
Living Tombstone.
Tombstone.
No worries at all, guys. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Hey,
So great
thank
to be
you.
here.
You look pretty alive and alert for living tombstones, I must say.
Yeah,
Irony in that statement, the name itself is an oxymoron anyway,
yeah,
so.
but we take the living part to heart.
See now, the Living Tombstone hit Australia this July for 3 shows only, starting in Brisbane on the 4th, then he hit Sydney on the 5th, finished in Melbourne on July the 6th. So it's not long, guys. He is packed and ready to go. Is that sort of that organised?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like
let's
we've got
see.
kind of a rhythm now. We
Mm.
have
Yeah.
our tour routines, we've got our tour, packing list.
Oh, and we have good people. Shout out to Marcus Grimy, who's our tour manager. Because, for example, in Australia, since places are more far away, we have to like basically do a show in, let's say, Brisbane, and then the next show we'd have to immediately leave on an airplane and just go to the next place. So the fact that we
Yeah.
have awesome people helping us with that is
Yeah.
great.
Couldn't do that without a lot of help.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. He's got a bit of time off either side of those shows, or are you just flying in, playing, and flying out again?
Unfortunately, we're flying in, playing, and flying out again, but I've been told that it is very important that we make time for a shoey. That
Yeah.
is, we've been informed that
Have you had, have
this
they
is the
told you
tradition
have
we're
they
going to be.
told you what a shoey actually is? Do
Oh
you know
yeah.
what it actually, and then you're keen to do it?
Well, we might bring a fresh pair of shoes to do it
That would
with.
be the smart. Mate, they have people from the crowd throw their shoes up, and you're drinking out of
Oh,
an unknown person. Like a band's do it. I can't. I think it's the most disgusting thing ever. Like I know
yeah.
what my feet smell like. I ain't drinking out of
Oh yeah.
that.
Yeah. So I think we'll have a shoey shoe. We'll line it with saran wrap or something.
No, I actually caught a band out a couple of years ago. I won't dob the actual band in, but my photographer, like they did a shoey, and my photographer took a photo of the shoe because they left it sitting on the drum riser, and there was a glass inside, a plastic cup inside the shoe that they'd poured the drink into. So if you can get away, if you do that, just make sure the cup's a little bit below the level of the shoe,
Yeah.
so you don't get
Yeah.
caught out.
A little bit of Hollywood magic.
That's good shoe advice.
Yeah.
Do we worry about boots and stuff, like bigger
Oh
shoes?
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah, well,
the smallest shoe possible, please.
Yeah,
well, you
that's
only have to pour like a half a drink into it. You don't have to fill the shoe up. So don't let
oh,
anyone lie
okay.
to you
Right.
and say that. You just pour a bit of a drink in there. So there's your little
Okay.
tip.
Well, I'd like to just do the whole interview about shoe conversation.
Yeah, I know.
Now I'm afraid.
This has been so
Am I,
like the
my,
whole shoey conversation has been so fascinating to us.
yeah, yeah, we're promoting an album called Rust. Anyway, so shoey.
Yeah.
So does it get one question? I'm allotted one question
Yeah,
about
right.
shoey.
One question.
So, does the shoey get soggy? Like, does the shoe get soggy? Like, can you even drink it when it's like leather? Like, I have some
Yeah,
experience.
you've got to drink it pretty quick. You have to drink it pretty quick.
Oh, okay,
And if
okay,
it is
okay.
one of your own shoes and you're going to put it back on, I would bring a fresh pair of socks before you put it on.
Whoa,
Oh
that's
yeah.
another factor. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
This is
This so much to learn.
See, I'm glad we had this conversation.
Yeah.
So back on the real reason why you're coming over. Your music integrates electronic rock and there's gaming culture and internet era anthems. So how do you fit all of that into a live show? Like, what's the process?
oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So the way we do it,
A big part of it is the costumes, I think.
oh yeah.
Because the show, the last thing we want to do for a fan base who is so visual, because everything that they digest from us is on the internet and largely like through music videos and video games are obviously such a visual medium. We want to give people something visual that they can digest.
It's very like feelings. It's like because in and of itself, and to add to what Sam is saying is like because the band is very much in and of itself like characters with like this really big out of this world like cloak to them with the neon colors. It's like the whole point is much like the things that we're very much because gaming and media culture is very much about how much you feel for them and the things you're into. So
Yeah.
that's like we translate and try to connect it within our own world. So
Yeah, we
yeah.
try to have characters people can connect to that are like very visual and exciting to look at,
Feels rich.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beyond just the experience of going and seeing a band play live, you're getting to see these characters perform live.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is it because of that, is it a structured performance or is it more ad lib?
Oh, it's still, I wouldn't say it's very structured beyond the set list. I
Okay.
think
Yep.
part of it is we have a sense of these characters' personalities and we'll embody them a little, we'll do different things every show.
Hmm.
We don't have
Uh-huh.
specific act out beats or scenes or anything like that. But we're always going to be in that kind of state of mind of the character. So Yoav's always going
Yep.
to be very playful on stage. I'm always going to be very kind of like brash and in your face. Our guitar.
Lots of air punching.
Yes, yeah, lots of punching the
Punching.
air.
I'm always like couple feet, sorry, meters, away from Sam, just to make sure I don't have to
Yeah.
punch.
Just to, I have a swinging
Straight.
zone. Yeah, yeah. And our bassist is always kind of jumping around and egging on the crowd. Our guitarist, the vibe is kind of like a Frankenstein's monster sort of thing.
Oh,
Nice,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, the costume of our guitarist, he's probably about close to 7 feet tall.
Mhm.
So he's like kind of hulking and moves in these very sort of animatronic ways.
Oh, Armstrong is, I think, the most funny just because of how 180, what we're describing. Armstrong is like, you know, pretty much standstill all the
Yes.
time.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
it's a very static performance, which is funny. I do think like most bands, your guitarist takes this role of like being really interactive and really in the crowd. And for us, I think our bassist is the person who does that.
Yeah.
And our guitarist very much like kind of posts up and kind of takes up space and has these like little cute moments of being this.
We love at the base.
Yes, yeah, a beloved, a beloved kind of Frankenstein's monster type character where he's just like he's walking around and experiencing the space.
It's like an
And
animatronic.
yeah,
Yeah.
like an animatronic character from, a Chuck E. Cheese or a Shakey's Pizza
Sounds
or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's.
No, no. Can you go into the visual side of the live show, or is that sort of something that you'd rather keep secret till they come?
Oh, no, absolutely. The visual component is largely built around the costumes. So each of the 5 costumes has their own specific lighting color, and
Mhm.
these are
Okay.
all lit up costumes. So my costume is, I don't know if you can tell, green.
I was going to guess that.
Yoav's is orange, our drummer is blue, our guitarist is red, and our bassist is magenta. So all of the costumes are totally monochrome except for these lighting features. We all have these masks that have this skull that's lit up in the color,
Yeah.
Oh,
and then we
nice.
have different things on our bodies that light up. It's a little bit Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little punk, a little bit Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and is there like visuals and stuff going on in the background? Have you got all those sort of effects as well?
So we do sometimes use a video wall, but largely we treat it as though we are the visuals
Yeah,
because we
exactly.
have
Yeah.
these lighting features. Yoav
Right,
has
yeah.
chest. He has this a display on his chest that has a waveform that reacts to when he sings and when the band is playing
Oh,
music.
nice.
Super cool.
Mhm.
Nice. Now you mentioned Five Nights at Freddy's before, which I'm glad you did, because people who might have heard the hype of you guys, but they don't actually know who you are. Like that was the end closing credits of the movie Five Nights at Freddy's. Did you guys write that for the movie, or was that written first? And
Yoav wrote that on his own 10 years ago.
So maybe longer than that. The song itself was made in response to the game coming out a week before, or so. And so this was all like a new fascination for people on the internet like myself. And I thought,
Mhm.
as a musician, should I try to make a song about it? Being on the internet and seeing musicians making songs about things they care about and love is nothing new. But I decided to give it a shot with Five Freddy's, um, and that was the thing. Is like I don't think neither of us like knew that like this was gonna be a movie one day, or that it's more the fact that we didn't even know it was gonna escalate to that degree. It was
Wow,
just
that's cool.
something we cared about.
Yeah, there was no sense of this is going to be a movie one day.
Yeah.
This is going to be that many people that care about this franchise. I think it was just, something cool that you loved and you thought, "Hey, let me try this." And it had such an impact that, Yoav got emailed about putting it in the movie before the movie even attached its final director.
Yep.
Wow, that's
So-
so cool.
Yeah, so it was very early in the process that the creator of the games reached out to him and said, "Hey, it's important to me that this song is in the film."
Well, I'm going to be completely honest here, and you guys probably aren't allowed to comment on this, but that was the highlight of the movie for me. Like I thought the movie was pretty lame. But when that came on at the end, that was that like brought everything back into perspective, and it was pretty good. So thumbs up, guys. No worries. So you mentioned before your new album that you've been working on too, called Rust. So when are you planning to release that? Is that this year?
So yeah, Rust comes out 3 days from now, from this recording. So it
Okay,
comes out,
cool.
and we're so excited. It's been a 5-year process, 6-year
I
process.
think it was
Wow.
yeah 2018 because I remember Sam showed me the first demo system. It was called at the time in 2019. So that's why at least I remember then.
Yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
Before,
this has been baking for a while. So we're really excited to get it out there and play so much of it live for people too.
yeah.
Yeah, tell us a bit more about the album. Like, is it what fans would expect from you guys, or in 6 years have you sort of branched out a bit more and got some surprises?
I think it's going to be a little bit surprising thematically, but I think sonically, like I think it's going to deliver people a lot of stuff that they're very into already from us.
And I don't know. We've always tried a lot with our fans, like different ideas, even in things that they are familiar to. So let's say
Mhm.
when we did a song, like let's say Spooky's House of Jump Scares is like a folky swing song. Like the point is that we always strive for interesting, like as in like we never want to make something, and often we would be act for doing this thing that would be the same over and over kind of thing.
Yeah, I think our fans
Yeah,
know to expect the unexpected.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So this is to really give our fans something that is new for both of us to tackle and say, how do we, given how for ourselves this is a challenge to do something like this and say, let's make something good out of it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's always it's exciting. There's always a lot of pressure for the sophomore album specifically. So we're excited to see what the response is.
Yeah, nice, nice. Now, you guys have been doing this now for over a decade, but and you guys have obviously been very successful, but what was your vision back when you started? Like, was it this, or did you have other plans for what you were doing?
Oh, good question. It's kind of like from the very beginning, the name itself, the Living Tombstone, was very much like this gives the vibe of bands and stuff I was listening to at the time. It's very much like My Chemical Romance or
Hmm.
Linkin Park. It's like big names, but I'm also an internet kid, so it's like you open a YouTube channel with that name and you say, what do you do when you're a musician on the internet and you have this name and then you want to keep going? So from the very beginning, it was basically like this is about the love for things that give you this really big emotive feeling that you're into, like as we talked earlier. And that was the goal, is to see how do we do that when the internet is always about how do we feel for really big things, and especially now when in the TikTok age, everything just gives you something to feel for.
Yes, yeah. And I think so that's an interesting point you bring up in that like it's so much of it is more about connecting with people than anything else. And
Mm,
I don't think there was ever a plan at the beginning of like, oh, here's the business plan for this band or
yeah.
anything like that. I think it was just, how to connect to people in through a screen in these faceless communities of fans.
It's in and
Yeah.
like the name itself is inherently inspired by bands that in and of itself are things you feel for, like as a concept. Like Gorillaz, for example, is a great
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
It's like the name brings up, and you don't just think about the music, you think about the
The
entire like visual
characters.
into the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So Thompson
Yeah.
is like almost like a snapshot or an obsession over other bands that had this sort of name and idea and big opaque like
Yes.
ideas. Yeah.
And bands
Yeah.
that played with their own sort of worlds and their lore.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. Now, and you're in a unique position of both being recording artists and influencers in gaming. So, how difficult is it to combine both of those worlds?
Um, I think it's like go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's easier than ever now in
Yeah.
that,
Oh,
I think gaming, there was a period of time, certainly when we were growing up, when gaming was still a little bit niche. There was still that kind of dichotomy of, oh, those are the nerds. Nobody sits with them at
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
yeah, I was definitely picked up on
Yeah.
by the games I'm
Yeah,
into.
exactly. And I think, that has completely disappeared. I think at
Yeah.
some point culturally the nerds won. And at this point now, I think gaming it's not niche anymore. You know, Sabrina Carpenter is in Fortnite. So I think there isn't really a division between the gaming world and pop culture in general anymore.
Yeah, I just want
Yeah.
everything. I think everyone. It could be just the fact that now everyone has a phone, so suddenly everyone has a computer,
Yeah.
as opposed
Yeah.
to they were, very few people had a Sega, a Mega Drive, or a
Yeah.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
true.
absolutely. And I think that's a really good point is I can play Fortnite on this.
Yeah, correct.
You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to have some setup at home where I'm like, oh, let me make sure everything's set up. I can only be in
Yeah.
this spot in my house alone. It's so much more social than it's ever been. And so I think ultimately it's not hard to bridge that gap. And in fact, the fact that we came up around gaming has been an advantage lately because a lot of people are coming later to the gaming
Yeah.
world, the gaming fandom
Yeah,
space
exactly.
than we are who have been here for a while.
Yeah, we don't have to because gaming is so big that we don't need to, once we're in the space now, to pretend that we like it because you can only reach an audience when they already had like a leg up on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just had it from the very
Yeah.
beginning. Like it was never, it was
There's no
something we knew was a quality thing for everybody before we had people try to convince us that it is.
yeah, there's no sense that we're playing with gaming for clicks.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, we'll finish off with one question, guys. How do you find the balance in the creative process between those worlds? Like, how do you know when you've gone too far in one direction or not far enough in another?
That's a
Oh,
great question.
fantastic one.
Yeah.
I think I think to me, like, I don't know about
Huh.
you, but it's like I feel like no matter what, we always feel for something. It's like we always know that something is eliciting us a certain reaction to know that maybe there's something to pursue, and if it's even like an idea worth pursuing, they will do it. And given how Sam and I are both songwriters from different backgrounds,
Mhm.
we try to almost be the when you launch the nuclear launch, you have
Oh
two
yeah, you have
people.
the two
Oh,
keys,
So
yeah.
it's like if you keep listening the key, Sam doesn't, and it's a new idea,
then
then
it doesn't
something's
launch.
wrong,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
vice versa. But if we both turn on the key, especially if we start talking about it, then we launch it.
That's a great
That's
metaphor.
perfect.
I just
Perfect way to
underscore
describe it.
that entirely. Yeah. It's a two key launch all the time.
Yes.
That's fantastic. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to let you go so you can talk to someone else, but it's been really interesting getting to know you. The album Rust is out May 30th. The tour of Australia starts July the 4th in Brisbane. So we shall hopefully see you at the Brisbane show, guys. But best of luck.
Hey,
See you there, Kris.
oh yeah.
Take
Take
it
care.
easy. Have a good day.